Hello everybody, welcome back to the Bad Bookers Wrestling Podcast. My name is Jack and this is the fourth time I've recorded this. First time it was a phone call, so because I'm recording this on my phone, it knackered the recording. Second time I was called somewhere else. This time it's going to be a short one anyway because I've read through this I've got to the end 3 times and every time I've gone to the end something happens. So it's going to be a short one. Oh, I'm so annoyed. So annoyed. Right. We kicked off the night with a 10-bell salute for George Bush. Obviously he died. Not the recent George Bush. George Bush's dad, who's called George Bush. He died recently. Obviously he's the former president of the United States. I believe he was from Texas. And that's where it was held, Houston, Texas. Monday Night Raw. I'm not going to comment on it because, as you can tell by the accent, I'm not American and I wasn't born when he was in charge of the United States in the presidency. So, like I said, not going to comment. 10-bell salute, may he rest in peace. But we kicked off the night with, this is the 4th time I've said this, kicked off the night with Ronda Rousey and Natalya versus Nia Jax and Tamina. And it wasn't a match, even though the bell rang, it wasn't a match. The Riott Squad came out with a table, and Natalya went through the table, basically. It looked like she legitimately hurt her elbow. She proper sold it straight away. So fingers crossed she's not actually injured from it. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But if she is, recover quickly, hopefully. Because she looked like in legitimate pain. It could be good selling because she's a bit of a veteran, but we'll have to wait and see. Next up we had Alexa Bliss do another open forum, because last week went so well. We had another open forum with Sasha and Bayley. Pretty crap questions. Right, first question was, why did the people on social media say that Sasha's using Bayley? Why do people care? But Sasha or Bayley should have turned about 6 months ago. Just don't care. Sasha saying, no, we're best buds, mate. We're best buds. Next question was, who would your dream match be against? They've both said Trish or Lita. They both answered Trish or Lita. Simple as. Read some articles. Next up was, what would your favourite superpowers be? Trash question. Bayley said, I'd love to make things disappear. First person would be Alexa Bliss. Oh, made this joke last week. Final question was, what do you see yourselves doing? What do you see the women's division doing in 2019? And Bayley said, me and Sasha are going to win the WWE women's tag team belts. And they're not a thing. But it's mad that they've mentioned them. Are they going to announce them soon? They've done it before where they've said things and not capitalised on it. But really weird that Bayley's brought it up. Not going to lie. It's weird that it's been brought up. But at this point, Dana Brooke, Mickie James and Alicia Fox came out, obviously trying to attack Bayley and Sasha like they did last week. And Alexa Bliss stopped them and said, I reminded you last week for this. This isn't going to happen again. Stop trying to spoil my open forums. Please do. Hopefully we don't get them again. And Alexa Bliss says, look, we're going to have a tag team match to settle this once and for all. Dana Brooke, you can stay out if you want. You're not going to wrestle? Don't know why. We've seen Mickie James and Alicia Fox versus Bayley and Sasha quite a few times. Throw Dana Brooke in there. It would have been something different, but no. Apparently she can't wrestle on Raw. Apparently that's not allowed. Okay. So we had the Fox James versus Bayley Sasha match. Okay match. Fairly quick. Bayley and Sasha won, beating Mickie James with the backstabber into Bayley and Bayley to belly, whatever it's called. That thing. Like I said, decent enough match for a women's tag team match. But are we going to see the women's tag division titles soon? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows at this point? Next up we had Bobby Roode and Chad Gable ask more like tell Baron Corbin to give him a rematch after last week's shenanigans. Not going to go into it. And they said, yeah, we want a rematch against the AOP for the tag team titles. And rightly so, Corbin said, look, you lost, boys. I don't owe you anything, but I shall give you a chance to get a rematch. Bobby Roode, if you can beat Drake Maverick tonight on Monday Night Raw, you can get a rematch. One stipulation is going to be that Chad Gable and the AOP are banned from ringside. And they're like, yeah, we can do that, that's fine. And so yeah, we're going to get a match between Bobby Roode and Rockstar Spud on WWE TV. You know what's going to happen. Luckily it didn't happen. What you think is going to happen, but I was thinking the same thing. I've said this bit 4 times. It gets worse every time I have to think about it. Lucha House Party. We're going to have a one-on-one match against Dash Wilder, was it? No, Scott Dawson. And they turned it into Lucha House Rules. So it was a 3-on-1. Apparently they're still not heels. Moving on. They won the match because the Revival are buried like anything. Next up we had the Drew McIntyre Appreciation Night featuring Baron Corbin, bringing out Drew McIntyre. We had a lovely little vignette of all of Drew McIntyre's achievements since he's come to Raw. And Drew McIntyre got the mic and said, I've done everything I said when I came here. I've made the Raw division on notice. I have pummeled some fear into some of these wrestlers. I've moulded it into what I want. I own this bitch pretty much. You might as well have said that. And who came out to interrupt him? None other than Dolph Ziggler. Dolph said, look, well done on this appreciation night and all that, but my invite must have been lost in the post or something, because we did that, Drew. I was the brains to your brawn kind of thing. We both did it equally. And Drew said, look, you're nothing to me, Dolph. You're merely a stepping stone into me getting to the top. And I was the only reason why you were relevant in these past 10 years. Drew, don't have to say it, man. The truth hurts. The truth hurts. That's all I'm going to say. Dolph wasn't having any of this, and we saw a Dolph Ziggler face turn. Dolph Ziggler turning face on 2018 Raw. Mad. and hit a zigzag on him. Baron Corbin obviously got annoyed by this and said, Dolph, you've ruined tonight. You're going to have a match against Drew McIntyre right now. They had this match. It was a very solid match, as you expect from Dolph and Drew. And who came out to just slowly walk out and distract Drew? None other than Drew's TLC opponent, Finn Bálor, coming out with a lovely Bálor Club hoodie on. And, yeah, he wasn't doing anything. He was just stood there, gazing, observing what was going on. Drew McIntyre ended up on the outside of the ring, and as the ref was distracted, Finn Bálor drop-kicked Drew into the barricades. Finn, what are you doing, man? Your face, your smiley face, you can't be doing stuff like that. Drew McIntyre beats the count of 9, just like Tyson Fury at the weekend, gets into the ring before he's met by a super kick from Dolph Ziggler. And Dolph Ziggler beats Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre's first pinfall loss since Almas, I believe it was, at TakeOver when he got injured. Was that January or something like that? It's mental. You could say they've thrown it away on an episode of Raw, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Like, it certainly wasn't a clean victory, and it certainly pissed Drew McIntyre off. So we're going to get a very, very angry Drew McIntyre, which is probably the best McIntyre, if you ask me. I like a good angry McIntyre. Moving on, we had Elias in the ring, calling out Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley came out, and they started brawling on top of the ramp, and it ended up with Lio Rush being chucked into that no man's land bit underneath the commentary table, like just not the ramp, just in that no man's land kind of bit. And Bobby Lashley ran away because Elias was getting on top of him. And all of a sudden, the camera was on Elias, and Lio Rush came out of absolute nowhere, just thrown onto the ramp. And Elias smacks him over the head with a guitar, which I'm sure people would have loved. And the camera pans, and who was there to throw Lio Rush onto the ramp? Bloody Finn Bálor again. Finn Balor's on a mad one tonight. He's costing everyone cells in their brains and costing people's matches. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Finn Bálor, you're evil, mate. You're evil. But yeah, you know, Elias and Finn, they gave each other the nod. And faces. Moving on, to be fair, if the Lucha House Party are faces, then they're faces, it's fine. Moving on to a backstage segment, as this segment was finished, we jump straight into another one, and there's Jinder Mahal and Baron Corbin watching Finn Bálor and Elias nodding at each other. And Jinder said, look, put me in a match against Finn, I'll sort him out. Me, big Jinder Mahal, will sort him out. Put me in a match with Baron. And Baron Corbin says, yes, well, later on in the night you can have a match with Finn Bálor. Of course you can, Jinder, you're my best mate. And he called Baron Corbin, then, you know, Jinder Mahal walked off. Baron Corbin then called in Rhyno and Heath Slater. Second week on Raw, mental. And Baron Corbin said, look, I don't have space on Raw for both of you. One of you needs to quit, so the other one can keep their job. Heath Slater denies. He says he's got kids. Obviously, he needs to feed his family. Rhyno says, I've built a career on this. I'm not quitting just out of nowhere. And Baron Corbin says, all right then, later on in the night, you two can have a match. And the loser gets fired. Simple as. They're obviously shocked. It was mental. Next up, we had this match between Bobby Roode and Rockstar Spud. TNA. It's just a TNA match. It was good to have a Rockstar make his in-ring WWE debut. He's a good cruiserweight, to be fair. Just a bit weird, you know. But, okay. Fair enough. And camera goes backstage and it sees the AOP absolutely destroying Chad Gable, throwing him into some boxes or something, some blue cup, like bottle box kind of things. And Baron Corbin comes out of nowhere and went, what are you doing? You're in the match. It's a 3-on-2 handicap match. You need to get to the ring now. All three of you. Chad Gable's obviously on the floor, writhing in pain. AOP run to the ring. So at the moment, it's a 3-on-1 match. But a valiant Chad Gable comes to the ring, tries to fend off the AOP, but it wasn't to be. A super collider to both of them. Drake Maverick asks for the tag. He gets tagged in. Drake Maverick, Rockstar Spud, has beaten Bobby Roode via pinfall on a 2018 episode of Monday Night Raw. Mental. Mental. Oh, absolutely mental. Next up, Dean Ambrose comes out with a SWAT team with gas masks on, sirens. Sirens mixed in with his music. It was pretty mad. One of the best promo in this rivalry between him and Seth Rollins. He hit it out of the park, if you ask me. It was what we expected. It looked like the script writers had kind of let him, you know, eased off him a bit from the crap that he's been given, to be fair. And they gave him something worthwhile to say. And he delivered it perfectly. Seth Rollins coming out. They broadened the crowds, you know, just brawling everywhere. Seth Rollins gets smacked in the head with a gas mask. Go and watch it. At this point, Raw kind of went up. It was, you know, in my opinion, it was like below average, shot up to about average at this point. Definitely better than last week, but it was not hard, if I'm honest. But yeah, Dirty Deeds hit on the outside. The SWAT team then throw Seth Rollins into the ring, and another Dirty Deeds hit on him there. So once again, Dean's got the upper hand on Seth Rollins. What's going to happen in a couple of weeks' time at TLC? Nobody knows, except for the script writers. Next up, Nia Jax doing a promo. Now, after last week, Nia Jax doing a promo was horrendous. This week, she pulled off her best promo ever. It was aggressive. It was to the point. She didn't smile. She didn't do a stupid thing where she presses her fist off. She shouted at, what's her name, the interviewer, I forgot her name, Charlie Caruso, shouted in her face, probably spat in her. It was just, the intensity was there. It was her best promo since, even in NXT probably. I can't remember one in NXT that was as good as this. So, fair play to her for finally pulling off a good promo, in my opinion, which wasn't related to any sort of charity or anything like that. But no, go watch this back as well, because it was a very good promo. And this was announced that we're going to have a tag team match, obviously, like before. I didn't mention this actually, but Ronda and Alexa Bliss were backstage, and Ronda said she wants Nia Jax and Tamina again. She's going to pick a tag team partner again for the main event of Raw. And it was announced that the tag team partner was the only other babyface on Raw, Ember Moon. So Ember Moon is tagging with Ronda against Nia Jax and Tamina later on. So that's good. That was good. Pardon me. Heath Slater versus Rhyno now. Very quick match. Rhyno got beat via a neck breaker from Heath Slater, and Rhyno is fired. He's got some politics to do, I think. I think he's in some sort of government somewhere. So thank you for the service, Rhyno. But you are gone, unfortunately, my friend. You haven't been on TV for a fair while, but you know, I liked you back in the EC dub days with your gore. As a child, the gore was my favourite finisher. Sad to see him go, but he's done well in his career, and I'm sure it's probably not the final time he's stepped inside the wrestling ring. You know, he'll probably do an indie show or whatnot. But he might even step up on SmackDown, we don't know. Next up, we had Finn Bálor versus Jinder Mahal. Basically, it was a standard match between these two. They've wrestled quite a few times before. The Singh brothers they didn't distract. They pushed Finn Bálor off the top turnbuckle as he's about to hit the coup de grace. And who comes to make the save? There was no mention of this afterwards. There was no mention of it beforwards. But Apollo Crews comes down. TV time, fantastic. Give him TV time because he is a great wrestler. Just needs to work on his character a bit more. But he comes down to make the save, destroys the Singh brothers. Finn Bálor then gets advantage again, coup de grace, and picks up the W for himself. And I wouldn't mind seeing Finn Bálor and Apollo Crews tag teaming, if I'm honest. I think that would be quite a good tag team. Neither of them are doing too much at the moment. I know Finn's in this thing with Baron Corbin, but you know, I'd quite like to see that tag team. I don't know about anyone else, but I think that would be good. I'll be ordering now. Bloody hell. But we are on the last bit. Main event time. Nia and Tamina versus Ronda and Ember. And it was an okay match. Nothing special really happened in it. Nia and Tamina attacked Ronda before Ember Moon could come out. Her music hit, and then they started attacking Ronda. It was, like I said, solid match. Okay to solid. And the finish was Ember Moon hitting the Eclipse on Tamina, and then Ronda Rousey putting the armbar on her as well. Finally, I've completed the Raw review for the 5th time of asking. Oh, what a pain in the ass. I thought this Raw was decent. Compared to last week, obviously. Compared to last week, it's the greatest ever show. But average show. Below average to average, I would say. Still wasn't too good. But the Dean Ambrose promo was excellent. Nia Jax's best promo, finally, looked like an actual threat. And she needs to do that more often. Good to see Apollo Crews get some TV time. Good that Heath Slater can still feed his kids. Apparently, Heath Slater's no longer wrestling. He's been a referee now, according to Baron Corbin. There was something else that I liked. Finn Bálor, you know, getting on top of Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. I like that throughout the night. But in between, Drew McIntyre was, like I said, he's a bit of an angry man. He beat the hell out of Finn Bálor. But I'm going to end it here. I'm so sorry about this review, but as you can expect, after the 5th time of trying to do it, I couldn't care less at the moment. Like, subscribe. I'll see you again tomorrow for SmackDown Live. Hopefully it's not as rushed, and hopefully I get it done first time of asking like I usually do. Thank you very much for watching.